friends, and welcome to another tag video. This is the Choose Your Own Adventure tag, and I was tagged by Luke's Room a few weeks ago, but I hadn't had a chance to sit down and film this until now, but I'm really excited to do it. So let's get started. So I'm going to read the story from Luke's description, and this will be included in my description for anybody who wants to do this, and for those that I tag at the end. So stay tuned because you may be it next. So the story. In order to start your adventure, you need to choose two pieces of equipment. Firstly, you must choose either a book, what book, and why. Ooh, I guess I should have picked something before I started this. Well, I'm going to pick Pride and Prejudice, and I have a beautiful copy of it, but it's on my other shelf upstairs. And I'm picking Pride and Prejudice because it is one of my all-time favorite books, and it's the only book that I've read. I shouldn't say only book. It's one of a very few number of books that I've read more than once. I've actually read it like 5 or 6 times. And I read it for the first time when I was a teenager. It was my first book ever by Jane Austen, and it's one of my favorite, has one of my favorite romance tropes in it. It's just such a great story. So I'm going to pick that because I don't want to pick any of the ones here that are on my TBR I haven't read. I don't know what comes next. I wanted to kind of let this be a surprise, so it'd be fun. I saw the choices that Luke picked, and that's another reason why I kind of waited to do this, because I didn't want to pick what he chose, so it'd be a little bit more of a surprise for me. So let's see what it says next. Secondly, you must choose one of the following and give a reason for your choice. A feather, a banana, or a sword. I'm going to pick a sword because a feather and a banana sounds like I might end up in an awkward situation. You know, what if I have to come to an ogre and all I have is a banana? So we're going to say a sword. This was probably like the easy way through this tag, but I'm going to go with a sword. Okay. Now you start walking down a long and windy path. Suddenly the path heads off in 2 different directions. Do you go left or do you go right? Well, I'm right-handed, so we're gonna pick right. So scroll. You have chosen to go right. After a short while, you come to a bridge. Over a precipice. To cross the bridge, you have to set 3 questions, which you feel are very difficult to answer. What 3 questions would you make up? I wonder if this has to be like book-related questions. I'm going to stick with book-related questions. Some questions that I think would be difficult. Let's say, what is your favorite book? I know that that's a difficult question for me. I have favorite books, but most of the time I'll say it's one of my all-time favorite books because I have several. I have, you know, even within one genre, I can't say that there's an absolute favorite. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to say that. That's a tough question. When somebody asks me, what's your favorite book? I can never really come up with one answer. It's more like, well, what genre? What are you in the mood for? Are you wanting to know this because you want a recommendation? You know, it's never just a simple answer for that. So 2 more. Okay, so I actually was doing I put in a question for an author interview that my friend Steve was doing. It was kind of a would you rather, and I'd asked him, the author, if he would rather be a ghostwriter and never write his own stories, or publish his own stories as without editing it, so like unedited. So submit his stories for publication without getting the chance to edit it. And he said it was a really hard question, so I'm going to kind of cheat and select that question. Oh God, I still have one more question. I'm going to do another would you rather, only because I've been doing I've been researching would you rathers kind of for the fun of it. We have a Just Because live stream coming up this Sunday. Yeah, so June 6th. And I'm trying to kind of fun things for us to kind of get conversation going and things like that during that. So one of the questions that came up there, I was like, man, I don't know how hard this for me would be a hard question. So it's, would you rather read one amazing book and never read another book, or only get, well, one amazing book and only be able to reread that book, or read as many books as you want, but they're all going to be average. So it doesn't say I have to answer any of these. That is my third difficult question. And so what's next on here? Do I have to do something with those questions? Okay, so once you have successfully crossed the bridge, a little while later you arrive at a river crossing. You can choose to swim across or take a rickety old ferry. Which do you choose? Choose to swim or take a ferry. I guess I'll try it, the rickety old ferry, so I don't have to get in the water. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. So, you've chosen to take the rickety old ferry, and the crossing is rough and the ferry sinks. Well, dang it, I'm in the water anyway. You go under the water and your bookish life flashes before your eyes. What books do you regret not having read? And what books do you regret having read? Luckily, the river spits you back out onto the opposite bank and you can continue on your way. Well, man, right there is a hard question. Well, if this were to happen right now, what would I regret having read? So let's start there because that's a little bit easier. So I regret having read Gone Girl. That is probably my least favorite book of all time. And I don't know why I suffered through the movie. I guess I was hoping that the movie would be a little bit better. It's shorter, so, it wouldn't be a waste of time. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I really didn't like that book. The characters were awful human beings, so I didn't care what happened to them. I think the only reason why I even finished it, because I'm one that if I don't like something, I DNF it. I'm quick to be like, nope, I don't have time. But there was enough of a mystery that I kind of wanted to know what was going on. And I wasn't satisfied with the ending. So it made me dislike the book even more. I guess it could have been redeemed if the ending was actually good, or there was some redemption for the characters. But no. Don't bother reading it. Don't bother watching the movie. Some people say it's their all-time favorite book, and I guess I could see why. There are a lot of twists and turns in it, so it's hard to predict what's going to happen. And for this, it was the same for me. I just didn't care enough, so the twists and turns weren't something that made me go, ooh, this is so great. But, if you like unlikable characters, and when I say unlikable, I mean there's no redemption for these characters at all. For me, there was nothing to like about him. There wasn't even like he's just misunderstood, or she's just misunderstood, and, they're doing bad things, but you understand why and what their motivations are, and you're like, okay, well, I can kind of get it. No, these characters, no. Okay, so what do I regret not reading? Oh my God, I have a cart right here full of books that are to be read, and this is just what I own physically. I probably got just as many on my Kindle that I haven't read, and then a bunch of books on my wish list. There's so many. As I was saying, we're going to go back to the beginning. So I said Pride and Prejudice is the book that I chose for this. I don't know if that's going to come in somewhere in this tag, but I haven't read all of Jane Austen's book. I would regret not finishing all of her novels. That's what I would regret. I'm sure there's much more that I would regret. There's some series that I hope to finish, but we'd be here all day if I named all of those. So we're going to say I would regret not finishing all of Jane Austen's stories. Okay, where are we now? Following the riverbank, we eventually come to a castle that has 3 doors labeled A, B, and C. You must choose one of these doors. Well, I'm going to choose C, right? C is always the thing to pick, although it's not really in the middle on this one. We're going to choose C. We're going to go C. That's my first instinct. So I'm going to scroll down to C. You have chosen door C. Behind this door, there is a museum of lost chances. Wow. What is an opportunity you regret missing out on? After answering this question, the door opens and you find yourself in a corridor. Lost chance. Wow, this is, I don't remember when I was watching this with Luke that this was so insightful into the person. I haven't traveled. I've never been outside the United States, ever. So I kind of regret that. There are a lot of places in the world I'd like to see, but I'm also terrified of airplanes. I should say terrified. I get on them. I just don't like it. It's got to be something that is really, there's got to be a real good reason for me to get on. And now, even now, it's more difficult because of all of the restrictions for flying, like wearing a mask and all of that stuff. It just makes it more stressful. My family and I recently went to see the Grand Canyon, and we drove there, and so that shows you my commitment to avoiding airplanes. Today I would regret not having traveled more, but hopefully I get the opportunity to do that in the future. And yeah. All right, so I come into a corridor. You walk down the dimly lit corridor and you come across an obstacle. You must choose what this obstacle is. To overcome it, you must use the equipment you chose at the start of the adventure. How does this help you to overcome the obstacle? So I chose a sword. So I'm going to pick spider webs. And I don't know if any of you guys play Minecraft, but I play Minecraft with my son. And a sword is the only thing you can use to cut spider webs. You get caught in the spider webs and you have to wait for the spider web to drop you. Or you can cut through the spider web with a sword. A sword is the only tool that works on spider webs. So, because I have to use a sword to get out of this obstacle, I'm going to say I come across a corridor filled with spider webs, specifically those from Minecraft. And if you guys are Minecraft fans, you play Minecraft, let me know in the comments below so I don't feel alone here. So I really enjoy it. It's something that I like to do when I'm not reading. Okay, once you have successfully overcome the obstacle, you meet a wizened old man. The man is holding a coin. To complete the next leg of the adventure, you must choose heads or tails. 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 You have chosen tails. Now you must extend this adventure by a line or two, as well as tagging 3 or more people who have roughly the same or larger number of subscribers. The same or larger. Okay, so it says I have to extend this adventure by a line or two, and then tag 3 or more people. So I did write down who I'm going to tag, and I hope more than likely they have a larger subscription count than me, because I don't have many subscribers at this time. But I'm going to fix that, because you who are watching right now are going to like this video, and then you're going to subscribe to me so that I can have more subscribers, right? Right? Because Raul says it's important. You know it. He knows it. I know it. Anyway. So, oh wait, first I have to add the 2 lines. So, okay, so I'm in a corridor, I meet a wizened old man, and now I have to add lines. Okay, so beyond the wizened old man, or you flip a coin, and he points you to a hidden door, and behind the door is a passage that leads to a large library, and in that library there are all the shelves in the library have the spines of the books are all black except for 3, and those 3 books spines are red, blue, and green, and you have to choose one of the books. Which one do you choose? I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do, but that's what I'm gonna do. So I don't know if the next person that I tag has to actually answer that part. This was fun. Okay, so who am I tagging? I'm going to tag David Wiley, Epic Tales, and Thoughts of Katie. So you guys, I will be putting their channels down below. So if you are not them, go check out their channels because they are awesome. And if you want to do this tag, even though I haven't tagged you, do it. And go ahead and send me a message on Twitter when you do it, and let me know so I can go and watch it, because this was a lot of fun, and I want to see more people do this tag. So David, Epic, and Katie, I hope to see your videos up soon with this tag. It was a lot of fun. I'm excited to see how it goes with you. Don't plan it. Just do it. Wing it like I did. It makes it a lot more interesting. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye.